Today we're doing luxury breakfast, lunch, and dinner, each about 500 calories, between 30 and 40 grams of protein, and plated like you get in a fine dining restaurant. Macro-friendly doesn't have to mean boring, and I'll show you exactly how. For breakfast, we're having a smoked salmon tartine with whipped lemon ricotta and a poached egg. Let's begin by poaching our egg, which is not as complicated as it seems. First thing we want to do is bring some water to a simmer and then crack our egg into a ramekin. It makes it easier to put into the water instead of cracking it directly inside. Besides the egg and the water, the only other ingredient you'll need is vinegar. Your egg won't taste like vinegar, but it helps to coagulate the white so it doesn't explode all over the water. Nobody wants that. Once your water is hot but not boiling, start making a whirlpool and drop your egg directly in. You'll notice the little tornado action will make the white set around the yolk. Now don't mind me, I haven't poached an egg in about a year and a half, so my technique is a little rusty, but it comes together perfectly at the end. Just trust the process. Once the egg just starts to float and the white is set, it's done. See how that came out? We had to just trust the process, it was fine. Now let's make our lemon ricotta, which is just part skim ricotta, lemon zest, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Just mix it up. And now it's time to assemble. Let's start with our toasted bread, lay down our ricotta lemon zest spread, and then put on about 2 ounces of smoked salmon. From there, I put in a few watercress leaves just for a little bit of pepper, and then topped everything with our poached egg. And there you have it, smoked salmon tartine with zesty lemon ricotta and a poached egg. I personally prefer a savory breakfast, so this really hits the mark for me. It's texturally interesting, it has the crunchy bread and the soft silky egg, and at 470 calories and 31 grams of protein, this is a perfect way to start my day. For lunch, we're having red snapper with red quinoa and a little tomato sauce on the side. This recipe is a variation of a dish I get all the time at one of my favorite restaurants in Greenwich, so I decided to recreate it in my own kitchen. First things first, let's get our quinoa started. So add your quinoa to a saucepan with a little bit of stock. If you don't have stock, water is fine. And just cook until the package instructions tell you to stop cooking it. Sometimes it's 15 to 20 minutes. Once it's finished, let it stand for 5 minutes covered, then fluff with a fork. Now it's time to flavor her up. Let's add the zest and the juice of a lemon. And season it with salt and a little bit of pepper, and then add our herbs. I like chives and parsley, but add whatever you'd like, and then mix it up. I found it needed a little bit of olive oil just to bring everything together. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that much. Mix it up again, and we're all done. Now let's start with our tomatoes. I quartered some cherry tomatoes, added garlic, shallot, juice of a lemon, and the same herbs from the quinoa. A little bit of salt and pepper and some olive oil just to bring everything together. And that's all set. Just let it sit while we do the fish. Let's start with our snapper. If you don't like snapper, use another fish. You know what will go really well with this? Bronzino, even salmon would be really nice. Just any fish you like. And we'll lay it skin side down in a non-stick pan. Don't try to be a hero. Non-stick pan. And cook it most of the time skin side down so the skin gets nice and crispy. Now it's time to plate. I'm plating myself a half portion because I'll save the rest for tomorrow, but I used a 1/4 cup of the quinoa, half of a piece of the fish, and some of our tomato sauce on the side. Assuming you want a 6-ounce piece of fish and a full portion of quinoa, here's our calorie count. Still under 500 calories, light and delicious. Now it's time for dinner. Chicken breasts with farro, tomato confit, and an arugula salad. Let's begin with the tomato confit because it's the most time-consuming out of the entire recipe. We'll start with tomatoes, and then we're going to add some garlic. That's going to turn really nice and roasty and sweet when it roasts alongside the tomatoes. And you can also add a couple of herbs. I wanted to use thyme, but you can use whatever really tickles your fancy, but thyme is super easy. From there, we're going to cover the entire thing with olive oil, and I know what you're thinking, girl, olive oil is not macro-friendly. It's okay. At the end, we're going to drain the olive oil off and just be left with the delicious tomatoes, the garlic, and the herbs. So put that in the oven for about 60 to 90 minutes, and when it comes out, it's going to be absolutely delicious. The whole kitchen is going to smell fantastic. And even though I'm not using the oil anymore, you could technically use it for our arugula salad. You could use it to dip some bread in. It doesn't have to go to waste. Next, we'll start with our chicken. We're going to pound it thin so it cooks twice as fast. If you don't have a meat melt, you can always use a rolling pin, and then we're going to season aggressively with salt and pepper because chicken is very bland, and drop her into our skillet until it's nice and golden brown on both sides. This is really important. Make sure that you let your chicken rest for about 5 minutes before you cut it against the grain. If you don't do that, it's just going to leak chicken juices all over your cutting board and it'll go dry. Nobody really wants that. Next, add your cooked farro into a bowl with some lemon zest, lemon juice, and dump all of our tomatoes and our garlic and our thyme right into the bowl, a little ricotta as well, and some basil. And our final step is our arugula salad. I'm just going to do mine with a little bit of lemon juice, salt, and pepper. You can definitely add some of our leftover oil from the tomatoes if you want to, but it's optional. Now it's time to plate. We'll start with a little bit of our farro, put some of our chicken breast on top, and then top everything with our arugula salad. If you want to, you could add a little bit of lemon zest on top. You could add a little bit of our extra oil drizzled around, whatever tickles your fancy. This comes in at under 500 calories and 52 grams of protein. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.